Good evening and salutations, my G's fans. Okay, so this whole conversation between Sam and Carly, what was Sam hoping to get out of this exchange, right? What was her expectations? Because she seemed like she had expectations, way too high expectations than she should have. She expected Carly to recant her story and possibly send Sonny to jail and the father of her children to jail. And she did it because she's like, I know that you're lying, and my mom is staying in jail for a crime that she didn't commit. You thought she was just going to sit there and say, yeah, you got a point. Okay, I'll recant my story. And I may go to jail. Sonny probably will go to jail. And, both of our kids will sit there and lose their mother and dad. It's just like it can't be that easy. So I don't understand what she was actually expecting from that. And she talks about how Carly practically sent Jason out there into the danger zone again, and saying that I can't sit there and bear to tell our son that he just lost his dad again. So Carly's like, hey, listen, I'm not going to apologize for that. I felt like Lulu's best chance was for Jason to go there and get lucky. Now, Sam is like, I need you to do something. I need you to sit there and not just think about your family. Okay, that's a little kind of easier said than done, but sure. She's like, fine, since you're doing that, the only thing I'm asking for is you to do the right thing. How often have you known in a history of Carly doing the right thing? You think she's just going to decide to do it now just because you begged and pleaded with her? Yeah, if you came there with that, you just wasted 5 to 7 minutes of yours and everybody else's time. Okay. Um, Jordan and Isaiah. I just want to ask the. I was gonna sit there and say chat. I just want to ask y'all a question. Why is Jordan still sitting there going to visit Isaiah, bringing him breakfast and food and stuff like that? Why is she doing that? Let me explain. Jordan, from what we see, doesn't have this immediate infatuation with him, right? So I feel like it's just one of those lazy attempts to try to put those two in a scene together, maybe from some sort of like chem test or whatever. But it just seems like, oh, Jordan is coming there, dressing all fine and everything like that, which is always appreciated by me, to bring him more food. Okay, sure. Um, Eventually, she does open up about her pain that she's still feeling from the loss of her grandchild. Isaiah's like, you need to sit there and kind of, talk to a professional, whatever. I guess she doesn't want to do that in the sense of she wants to be strong for everybody else. The problem with that is that you're no good to everybody else. If you know what I'm saying, like you can't help everybody else until you help yourself. And that's something that most people that usually in that position that always that they're trying to look out for other people is often neglecting themselves. But what I don't understand is this next scene is with her and Alexis. So she goes down there and she pretty much just like, they have this little casual talk in the beginning. And then they get to Christina. And she's like, Christina was going to sit there and sue for full custody. Was you going to help? And the reason why this is a moot point is that why does it matter? Why does it matter if she was? She wasn't, but why does it matter if she was? What's done is done. You don't have a DeLorean. You can't go back in time. So what's the point of asking these what if scenarios? Now, Alexis does sit there and explain herself and that she wasn't going to, get in the middle of it or anything like that. And, ultimately she's like, I can't really answer that question because we're not at that point anymore. So what was even the point of her going there to ask her that? I mean, hell, like you really went all the way down there to go see Alexis to ask about a what if scenario that clearly is not going to happen? I can't be the only person sitting there looking at that and being like, now, in the end, they kind of dropped the animosity or whatever, and, they basically, it's they're talking about TJ and Molly's future, if they're going to stay together or not. And just basically just saying whatever happens, that they're still going to be there, each other for TJ and Molly. Okay. Now I want to talk about the scene before, um, with Alexis and Marty. Which, by the way, she gets a little kind of pissy with Marty because Marty, had to sit there and answer a phone call. And I was like, bro, let's be honest. You kind of put yourself in this position. You might just want to kind of tone it down a little bit. But Marty has an idea of going after Sonny because she's like, hey, listen, since I can't do option A and option B, let's go with trying to go after Sonny. But Alexis is like, well, that's a problem because Christina's going to sit there and act up. And it was so funny when Martin is pretty much just like, so you're telling me that this grown ass woman can't control herself. This is why he made a joke of like, well, find a way to sit there and put a muzzle on your daughter. And she's like, well, that's disrespectful. I was like, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to go after the real person, most likely that killed John. So this way you can go free. Your daughter wouldn't be under any more suspicious. And you're sitting there telling me, well, we can't do that because Christina can't control her emotions? Are you serious? This grown ass woman. Well, when you're saying things like that, you really should be sitting there thinking, at what point did you sit there and fail this girl as a mother? Because for her to not sit there and be able to keep her shit together, so this way he can help out both of y'all, is absolutely insane. And she said that with a straight face. She was like, yeah, mm-hmm, yeah, that's right. My grown ass daughter can't sit there and control herself. And that's no. Now, at some point, Martin is meet with Molly. And long story short, Molly pretty much has the same idea that Martin has as far as going after Sonny. And so she suggests that they go after Carly's alibi. Because we all know that alibi is just flimsy and super convenient. So can't go after the rest of the family members, but can definitely go after Carly in that weak ass alibi. While Lucky is sitting there trying to pick the lock, you got Sitwell with Jason and Anna. Anna's sitting there come up with this cover story that, she's sort of in the same business as him and that they should work together to, make his his transactions or whatever a little more easier. And Sitwell, here's the thing, Sitwell knows about, he knows who all of them are. So he's just at this point, just letting this whole thing plays out. I mean, you got to sit there and do something for 26 minutes of the episode. So he's just letting her just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Even agreed to sit there and check her references and everything. And so while that's going on, Holly's complaining a little bit, and she's like, listen, I'm gonna go and freshen up or whatever. So she goes to sit there and find Lucky, who at this point is already out the cell he was in. So at this point, Holly's like, yo, listen, I came here to rescue you, but like, we can't just sit there and just stand around here. Now, Lucky was sitting there talking to the guard and realized that there's some guests. And so at this point, he's like, I could sit there and get their car or whatever, and I could just get out of Dodge. So they're talking for a little bit. And of course, Sitwell just walks up and sees both of them just hanging outside, just kind of just chilling. So at this point, he escorts both of them back in handcuffs. And long story short, he pretty much threatens them. He's like, we're gonna sit there and play one last card game. And in my head, I was like, not another fucking card game. Not another goddamn card game. He's like, well, listen, if you win or whatever, y'all can leave. But if I win, then I'm just gonna sit there and kill all y'all. Okay, sure. You know, another goddamn card game. That's what I kept thinking in my head. Just another goddamn card game. Sonny and Christina. One of the things I found really funny was, Christina sitting there freaking out about, what she said, when she was sitting there talking to Chase. The whole rideshare thing, particularly. She doesn't say that, but she does sit there and say that she might have messed up or whatever. And Sonny says the same thing that I said. Sonny was like, you can't talk to the cops without a lawyer. And in her mind, she actually does sit there and say, well, that stuff doesn't matter as long as you know the truth. But it does matter. Like it does matter. I can't believe. Let's just move on. So she tells Sonny the truth about her actually being at the Quartermain's house and that she was planning on killing John. And Sonny, for some odd reason, decides to sit there and say that to Christina that killing someone is never the answer. There's so many reasons that I can sit there and list on why that's just hilarious. But the main part of this whole thing, for him to sit there and say it's not the answer, bro, we're in this mess right now because you decide to take the law into your own hands. Her mother is in jail because you decide to take the law into your own hands. But you're gonna sit there and tell her about how wrong it is and how it's never the answer. Now, Christina does sit there and say, like, I think she might have asked him, or she might have just said something along the lines of, like, did you kill him? And he doesn't really answer it, but I think she was sitting there asking, are you going to let her go to jail for a crime that she didn't commit? He's like, no, 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 of course I'm not. So you just gonna sit there and lie straight to your daughter's face? Like, really? You just go with that? Okay, all right. Like, there's a sense of humor when you really look deep into just watching this whole scene about how many things on here, or particularly this scene, that's just funny that you can probably point out that I might have missed, or yeah, make this video way too longer. So you can point them out if you want, but that is the general gist of that. Now, that's actually the general gist of this episode, at least the stuff that I could, sit there and shoot off. Now, if I missed anything, write it in the comment section below, or come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be spent there talking about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Born and Beautiful, and Young and Restless. Now, this is part 2 of this video of me doing Days of Our Lives. I also will be putting it in the description box, a timestamp of when this portion of the review starts, so you'll know. Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Okay, it's another one of those examples. I feel like every day, every time I watch scenes with Sarah and Xander, and I do my best to not sit there and poke at people who like Sarah and Xander, because that's their business or whatever. But this is just another one of those reasons of why they're just so mismatched, right? Where do I start? Okay. Once again, Sarah is not there begging and pleading Xander to drop this whole vendetta with Brady, right? Hell, she doesn't even know about the whole incident with the baseball bat, so I can't wait till she finds out about that. But she's just like, listen, I need you to sit there and kind of forget and forgive and move on. To Xander's defense, it's very hard for you to sit there and tell the man who loves you more than life himself to just forgive and forget. Those are the words that she actually used. Now I understand that she's like, hey, listen, I need you to sit there and be focused on that girl, whatever, and not have to be worried about you going to jail. This is also something that Maggie said. But I'm just like, forgive and forget. That's kind of a tall order at this point. Now, part of me kind of made this bad joke, but I'm gonna just sit there and say it anyway. There's a point where Xander's not there, helping Sarah to, to bed or whatever. And she's like kind of annoyed about it, and she's not there saying how disrespectful it is or whatever. And I'm like, disrespectful is kind of a stretch. Part of me was like, maybe he should have just actually dropped your ass on the floor and just said, oopsie daisy. Like, you know that he can't help. Like a lot of people in her family, is they're kind of struggling with not just reacting off of trying to help her when she feels like she can do it or whatever. And I guess on some level I can get it, but it's just like just the whiny nature of Sarah. After a while, it's like maybe you should have just sat there and just dropped your ass on the floor. That would have made me laugh. Now I know that sounds pretty messed up. I'm not saying you should kill her. Just I slipped. Just saying. But he does, after a while, wind up, he gets a call or a text or whatever, and he says it's Titan's business. And she's like, it's like late. Like, what are you talking about? Now, he makes this excuse with this saying that, listen, in other parts of the world, it's morning or whatever. So he gives her some weights or whatever so she can sit there and work on her upper body, and he goes off. But she doesn't trust him, which is amazing since she married this man. Of course, she does wind up turning out to be right because Xander is with some shady dude or whatever, getting a gun for whatever plans that he still has for Brady. Maggie was hanging out with Fiona, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But Maggie comes back to sit there and kind of give Sarah some food or whatever, and she's not in her room. And it turned out that Sarah had like the butler or whatever drive her, and so he's hanging out at night in this park, and she's just like, Titan business, right? So you want to sit there and tell me what you was really doing? I'm just like, I don't understand how you sat there and married this man that you can't trust. You can't trust him. You can't trust him to the point where you had to sit there and follow him. You couldn't sit there and take what he said as face value. And I'm not saying that she's wrong, but I'm just like, why did you marry him for? There's a part sometimes I feel like they just kind of drop the ball. So, Sophia comes to sit there and check on EJ, whatever, and gives him a hug and everything. And at first, I'm just like, really? Like, really? Like, okay, cool. I'm glad that he's alive and everything like that. But did you forget all the shit that he wound up doing? And I'm glad she did sit there and say, hey, listen, we're not exactly off the hook for you lying about the whole Jude thing. But she's still angry. She's angry at the Brady situation, angry that EJ couldn't sit there and bring her to justice, and even was once again sitting there offering to help. angry at Eric for only getting a slap on the wrist. I think he spent like what, a day in jail or something like that before he got off. Now she does once again offer to, help out, and he's like, no, let the police do it. So she wound up leaving, and I guess she goes back to Tate's place, and EJ calls somebody. It's like, just to put pressure on Jada to find the real culprit or whatever. And he does sit there and make a joke. He's like, you know what, maybe I kind of should. I mean, she can't sit there and be any worse than, the Salem PD. Now, I personally do think that Port Charles Police is actually worse, but I haven't actually watched Days of Our Lives as long, so I might be wrong about that. So, while that's going on, I am so glad that I took a minute before, like, usually I would sit there and do the review right after. I got a new nickname for Sophia, the mood killer, right? She has so many different people, so many different guys that she can sit there and pick in high school. And yet she is obsessed with Tate. She's obsessed. She comes across as clingy, pathetic, desperate. And so this whole scene with her and Tate is pretty obnoxious, right? And she comes over with some food or whatever. She starts acting super fake. Oh, I still want to sit there and be there for Holly and everything like that. And I'm kind of just like, hey, I don't I don't understand you. You know damn well that she has the hots for you, and you're still in a relationship with Holly. Why are you not showing this chick the door at this point? Like, I get it, he's a teenager or whatever, so like maybe, you don't always have all the answers. And I get that part, so maybe I'm being a little hypercritical. But I'm just like, why don't you just sit there and show this chick the door at this point? Like, why don't you just sit there and show her the door at this point? Because eventually Holly does get there, and, she eventually leaves. And Tate's like, well, it's not what it looks like. I'm like, okay, be that as it may, you should have practically just not even entertained the idea. Like, why do you keep doing that for? Now, she does come over and she's like, listen, I want to apologize for not answering your phone calls and texts and stuff like that. I'm just, really busy and just not in the right headspace. So you hug and everything, and she's all like, I want to just hang out and just kind of just get back to where we're used to. But she's like, I got to go to the restroom to freshen up. So she goes to Brady's room and starts looking through all his shit. And, she sees a briefcase. So she's like opening it, trying to open it up and everything. And Tate, I guess, was just taking so long and realized that she wasn't in the bathroom. That place is not that big. So she winds up going in her room. It's like, the hell are you doing? They're going to break up. Let's just be honest. They're going to break up. And seeing how, as Sophia said, that Holly was already sitting there freezing them out, with everything that's going on between Eric and his dad, it's not going to be long before it tastes like they're either going to have a really bad argument, and he's just going to be like, F it. I mean, this chick's been sitting there after me for a hot minute. I'm out, so just go for it. So that should be... You know what? If y'all are actually enjoying it, I'm not going to sit there and try to shit on it too much. If y'all are enjoying this whole Holly and Tate and Sophia love triangle, because why the hell not? And it's funny too, because I could have swore maybe a couple of days of my live streams, one of my subscribers or a couple of my subscribers is talking about how they need to sit there and build up the next generation. And I get that. I just don't really care for Tate or Holly, and damn sure Sophia. And Aaron is just like an afterthought. So, like, if that's the best that y'all can do, because y'all have the actors, and they seem like they're good actors, but you're not giving them really great material. Love triangles never really been my thing, so if that's the best that y'all can do, y'all are failing right off the bat. Now, the same with Brady and Eric is just more of an update. They talk about Ava. You know, he was there to sit there and check on Ava and everything. And you know, Brady sits there and talks about how Xander was about to literally beat the living hell out of him with a baseball bat. And he's so guilty. He feels so guilty about the whole thing, which is amazing because he still doesn't remember, that he was just going to let he was just going to let Xander just go to town if it wasn't for his mother. Which he does wind up telling um, Eric that he wound up sleeping with her. Of course, he's like, hey, listen, at the time, I didn't know. But he does also sit there and say that once he found out, he didn't break things off immediately, which is a little odd. Um, he also talked about Holly and Eric still, I mean, you know, Eric still being frozen out by her, being angry, rightfully so. And even though that they had their, even though that they had reasons, he's starting to sit there and wonder, were they even really good reasons? Because ultimately, what it came down to, no, they weren't good reasons. You claim to sit there and be protecting Holly, and in reality, you're just protecting yourself. Again, it's just unfortunately that we don't have the actress that plays Nicole to come back for scenes like this because although they're not terrible, we all know it would be a lot better if we actually had, I think her name is Aria back in the role. But I feel like that's another video for, I mean, that's another segment for a separate video. The same with Maggie and Fiona. I'm sorry, Fiona comes clean about her sleeping with Brady. And of course, she's like, she didn't know that they were, family connected and stuff. But she does sit there and say that, she stopped Xander from beating Brady with a baseball bat. And, Maggie's like, that's good because the last thing that Sarah needs is to be sitting there worried about Xander going to jail and stuff. And Maggie already sat there and said to Sarah, like, listen, this is not your job to sit there and manage your husband's emotions. I know that Maggie and Xander go way back, and there was a point where Maggie was going to sit there and unalive herself if it wasn't for um, Xander. But part of me just kind of looks at that whole relationship, and it's just like sometimes it's just surprised that she doesn't actually have more poise to that relationship, given how Xander is. Yeah, Xander could sit there and be a great and incredible person when he wants, but he's also a person that has no impulse control. He can act very erratic. And seeing how the stakes is very high for him at this point, seeing how he has a family and everything, and he's still willing to sit there and go to town with a baseball bat to Brady, yeah, I think that she should probably have a little bit more poise in their relationship. But while she does sit there and say that she can't look at Brady right now because of what he did, she's also like, he's family. And, he's suffering from a disease. And so, like, listen, I've given my opinion about this whole thing so many times that it's just, I'm just waiting for the truth to come out. But I'll sit there and say this for the new people that's just watching this for the first time. I do think that she should be a little more angrier at this situation. I get it. She's a recovering alcoholic. She understands the disease. But part of me is like, yeah, I know you can sit there and say that, he's suffering disease. He's suffering a disease, but he also is the person that put your little girl in a wheelchair. So part of me's like, the fact I'm not gonna sit there and say she's kumbaya, but she's kumbaya in this situation of what he's done. And so both of them just have this attitude of let's just move on and move forward. Yeah, we can sit there and be angry and stuff. And I get you can be angry and not want to sit there and kind of sit in that anger because it doesn't do anything for you. Then part of me is like, maybe you should sit there and express your anger a little bit more, especially with Maggie. I'm not disappointed. I don't know. I don't know the right words to sit there and describe it, but like, basically, it's like maybe she should be a little more angrier at Brady at the situation. Now, the last scene I think is with EJ and Eric, which just adds up to EJ coming in the pub, messing, trolling, fucking around pretty much with Eric. Um, and everything from disrespecting his dad to throwing in his face. Well, disrespecting his dad, disrespecting Brady, and throwing in his face that Holly is upset with him and that, he's pretty much going to kind of like fill that surrogate role as far as being her new stepdad. Which I'm just like, I saw the previews and it looks like he does manage to press his buttons to the point where he puts hands on him. Now, of course, that's exactly what EJ wanted. You know, put your hands on him, hit him, so this way he can go to jail. Because I mean, let's be honest, he's still pissed off at the whole Nicole situation, which, in some ways, bro, you did him dirty. You hid his son away from him, and that's just straight up wrong. Eric, you sat there and slept with EJ's wife, and you kissed EJ's wife. Now, EJ may be a scumbag in a sense, but not really that much better. You're better, but not by that much. That I would sit there and say. I do wonder what that guy, the shady guy that has no name, was going to do to Brady, because Brady's not just walking minding his business. And the guy just walks up to him. He's like, "Oh, you're Brady Beck, right? Like, are you a fan? You want his autograph? Like, why are you up in this man's face for?" Um, and I wonder if there's more to this scene with Sophia and Fiona. I think she was just probably happy when she wasn't with Maggie, so this way she could sit there and start, drinking again. Well, she did sit there and tell a bit of her history with how she met Brady. She doesn't sit there and talk about how she was drinking. She just said that she was in a bad place. The whole poor, woe is me, feel sympathy for me. I really cannot wait until Maggie finds out the truth about Fiona. I can't wait for that. I feel like that's about it, more or less. I might have missed some stuff here or there, but that is the general gist of this episode. If I missed some stuff here or there, either write it in the comment section or come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and the Restless. Also, let me know if this style is actually working. I don't want to go back to 2 reviews a day and just 2 reviews a day. So I feel like this is a simpler solution. I could just put out 2 videos a day and just do Days and GH and then Y&R and then B&B. Because trying to do 4 was kind of a lot for just various reasons. Mostly, one, I don't like Russian stuff. 2, like I said, when it comes towards YouTube, anything more than 2 videos, they will not notify you. That is just, you can Google that. They will not sit there and notify you. So I started noticing that other videos start to have less numbers. This isn't just about the appeal or vanity of just having high numbers, but I do want people to sit there and watch the videos. And if they're not getting notified because I'm putting out so many videos, I feel this is just an easier way so people can get notified. It's a little less work on me, and it's a kind of a win-win situation. So, let me know what your thoughts are about that as well. Anything with that being said, I'm gonna go. I'll see you in the next video and hopefully live stream.